During some selective missions of Cyberpunk 2077, you get to play as Johnny Silverhand and play through his history. However, there are a lot of people out there who enjoy photo mode and want to see Johnny Silverhand in different backdrops of Night City. Well, I'm going to show you how you can get Johnny Silverhand in free roam and how to get back into the Atlantis Club in 2077. My name's Mike, you're watching Deconstructing the Game. Let's get to it. Midway through the mission Never Fade Away, you go to the Atlantis Club to speak to Rogue in order to get help in breaching Arasaka Tower to save Alt Cunningham. Once you're in the Atlantis Club, you can free roam about inside, but trying to escape is a little bit tricky, as even if you try and shoot the windows out and jump out the window, there is an invisible wall stopping you, and the only way to really escape is by killing all the enemies and escaping through the elevator. Once you're downstairs, you can try jumping over the fences, but there's invisible walls surrounding the entire area, and if the Porsche comes through the last gate, there's going to be a geofence. You can run around the map to an extent, but after about 10-15 seconds, the Arasaka helicopter just annihilates you. So what can you do to free roam as Johnny Silverhand? Well, the first thing you need to do is kill all the Arasaka agents inside the Atlantis Club. You can kill as many as you like, or up until the point where the elevator becomes available to go to the parking lot. Once you're in the parking lot area, just ignore the Arasaka agents on the ground level and run to where the Porsche usually breaches a fence line. Jump on the dustbin or the trash can and then proceed to jump over the fence, and you are there in free roam. Don't be fooled by the gate on the right as you exit, because there is an invisible wall stopping you exiting there as well. So as I say, just ignore the Arasaka agents, because if you kill them, that will trigger an event where the helicopter will hover above and will target you with its gun. So you're going to be on a time restraint if you start killing these guys. So as I say, jump on this trash can and then jump over the fence. If you go immediately to the left, the geofence does not exist and you can explore Night City to your heart's content. However, if you go forward or to the right, there's going to be a geofence that constantly pushes you back into the area, so just head over to the left and you'll be able to free roam to your heart's content. As Johnny Silverhand, you can ride motorcycles and even drive cars, but the problem is he literally loses his head. This tends to be a random glitch that happens with V as well, but I've never seen it with Johnny Silverhand until now. Don't worry though, the glitch is not permanent, and as soon as you jump off the motorcycle or exit your car, his head will return. You can speak to people in vendor shops, and you can also speak to Ripper Docs as well, but they can get glitchy and I wouldn't recommend doing anything as Johnny Silverhand because it may affect your save file. One thing I also wouldn't recommend is trying to fast travel anywhere, because you get this very strange glitch of the map, and you can exit by pressing the back button or the select button. But fast travel does not work, so the only option you have is to travel by foot or find vehicles that are parked, because as you can see, there are no pedestrians and no cars driving about the streets. As I said, this mode is particularly good for anybody who wants to use the photo mode and get some pictures of Johnny Silverhand around Night City, and I got some pretty good ones of Rogue and the Nomad guy who was helping us in Never Fade Away. I thought I'd have a bit of a play around with the photo mode, as it's not something I tend to look into much, but I thought I got some pretty good images here, and whoever tries this glitch, I'm sure you can visit some pretty interesting places as Johnny Silverhand. But enough of Johnny Silverhand. How do we get back into the Atlantis Club in the year 2077? Well, you're going to have to go to this location here around Japantown. It's just close to the Cherry Blossom Market. And as you can see here, it looks very different. It's all boarded up and there's police tape, but you can get inside the bottom just by hopping the fence and literally walking through the metal sheet there. You can't access the elevator from the ground level, but if you exit the way you came in, you can climb to the top of the building and drop down and then use the elevator, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's show you how to do that right now. So from this point, all you have to do is jump up the buildings behind you and then basically do some very basic parkour with your double jump legs. You will need the double jump legs for this. They cost 45,000 eddies. Once you get to this point here, you can just jump up the slope. If you go up at an angle, you'll find it much easier, especially if you do not have the dodge forward as you jump. Once you get to this point, you can just jump onto the stairs, which takes you to an AV pad. If you're finding it difficult navigating around at nighttime and you can't see what you're doing, all you have to do is change the time to day and you'll have a much easier time of navigating and jumping onto ledges. The concrete stair structure here is pretty easy to climb since 1.2. They haven't seemed to change much on that regard, but if you get further up to the top, it does get a little bit glitchy and you can fall through the building. So once you get to this point here, just jump onto this building with the air vents and then onto the concrete structure here, and then take a running jump onto the blue and yellow building here. So technically you're on top of the Atlantis Club right now, but in order to drop into it, we're going to have to climb the blue ledges here to the very, very top until we are able to glitch through the windows, and you'll see the difference in textures just now. So once you're here, all you're really going to have to do is carefully walk along the edge and then double jump onto the top of the club. It will be very bright if you've changed the time to daylight. So all you're going to have to do is change it back to nighttime because that's when the mission is conducted, and for some reason the graphics tend to be based on the missions. So when you turn it to nighttime, you can see what you're doing a little bit better. It will be dark in some places, and as you can see here, I literally drop through the floor without trying. So if you're doing this for the first time, realistically, you're going to have more of this. You're going to see very glitchy graphics, and you're going to be wandering around trying to find an access point. Honestly, I think it's just random when you fall through the floor, but you can walk around and, you know, use intuition and instinct to try and get into a weak spot. With this one here, I managed to get just below the floor near the bar and was able to hop up into the club. So it didn't take me too long. It was a couple of minutes, nothing too challenging, but once you're in here, you're not stuck. There's nothing to worry about. All you have to do is use the elevator. But as you can see here, before on the outside there was like a yellow barrier over the window, but we can clearly see out into the city from here, and you can wander about the club and just explore it. It's the exact same as during the mission. It hasn't changed at all. There's nothing to collect in here. There might be some things to collect if you forgot to pick them up in the mission, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't really anything to pick up because if you're Johnny Silverhand, you're never going to get that stuff anyway. So it's just really to, you know, to say that you've done it and to get some photos in here if you want to. I'm wondering if maybe this will be available later on in the game, if they'll kind of open it back up as a club you can visit. But everything is as it was when you did the missions, and you can just kind of explore and do your own thing. Obviously, as I say all the time, if you're going to do these glitches, make sure you have a solid save point before attempting anything like this, because there's always a chance of something going wrong and you losing progress or getting stuck, and you're going to have to jump back a good distance away. So always save the game before this. As you're Johnny Silverhand, you're not going to be able to open the map or save the game, so you're always going to come back to the same auto save point as before, where you're inside the club getting attacked. So just bear that in mind. If you want to have this available, you're better saving it as you're with the Voodoo Boys just before jumping into that bathtub of ice and going into Johnny's past. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. There's going to be a couple more videos coming about exploration and things like that. You've been watching Deconstructing the Game. My name's Mike, and I'll catch you later.